Shalom and greetings again. I attempted to bring you just one video, but it so happened that it was cut at about maybe 16, 17 minutes or something like that. So I won't be long-winded with you at all. I will try to start where I left off, though. I do want to make a note where I was talking about, I think I was at the book of Revelation, and how Solomon, he had the 666 talents of gold per year. And then how on 6 steps in the temple, he had 12 lions on either side. Excuse me. And let's see, it's also noted that his navy was from Tarshish. And in the a couple of posts back, we said that Tarshish and the other assemblies in the book of Revelation were associated with Greece and Grecians. So let's see, I'll read this out of Joel. Well, it was something else that I meant to mention to you. While I've been going through here, I've been noticing a lot that the stuff, as we said before, is directed to this El, even the Elohim and things like that. And these are things that we should not be associated with, and the Baal and things of that nature. So, like I said, it's a matter of coming out of Babylon and continuing to do according to what we've been taught. Because the way that it is that it's not a cross that saves us, because that's a symbol. And the symbol, like I said, is Saturnalia. So that goes back to the mark. All right. So these marks are something that we should not have. And the thing of the matter is that when you look through here, I'm going to just put it to you this way, and if come what may, the way that it's written in Husha, which it may be some kind of setup, that I know not, but I have to tell you what's there. It says that Seth, this is chapter 3 about Husha's unfaithful wife, takes back his unfaithful wife, love a woman. Then it says there about David their king, and seek well, it says the Lord, but it should be higher their bara. But the thing of it is that also, like I said, the thing about that woman being in the place where I was or am, depending on how you want to view it. It also says in a couple more places about the mercies of David, and how Ahiah said that he would save the remnant of David, and be David would be a son to him. And when you look at Isaiah 11, I think I told you before. Let's go there. Then we'll go back to where I was. It's Isaiah 11, starting at verse 1. And these are the spirits that are talked about, and I believe in the book of Zechariah. There shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Ahiah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge, and the fear of Ahiah shall make him quick of an understanding in the fear of Ahiah. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove the equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And the wolf shall lay down with the lamb. So, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling together, and little child shall lead them. Now, the difference between that and this Jesus, or Jesus, is the fact that if it said that he is the son of Ahiah in that way, and that is in all of these things that are mixed up in Saturnalia, and things of that nature, like Hercules and Thor, and And like I said, all of these days of the week are even after these people from Saturnalia or Rome and things like that, and the Greco-Romans and whatever. So, like I said, but this difference. So the if this is saying that he has the fear of Ahia, and then we're saying that Jesus is the Son, and he proclaimed things. Why would he have any fear if he's also the Son? You see, so there's something there to understand that there's something different about what's being said. So even though this individual here is he's what am I trying to say? He's anointed as such. And let's go to, where was I trying to go? Zechariah. Okay, where is it now? Zechariah is toward Malachi or Malachi, which is we talked about before. Okay, Zechariah, and we have there chapter 3 and 6 or 8, or I believe. Let's go to 3. I mean, clean clothes for the high priest. We read this a few times, and he showed Yeshua, the high priest, standing before the Malach, or the angel of Ahia, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And Ahia said unto Satan, or Satan, Ahia rebuke you, Satan. Even Ahia that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? But Yeshua was clothed with filthy garments and stood before the Malach. And he answered and spake unto those who stood by him, and saying, Take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him said, Behold, I caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So that they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments. And the Malach of Ahia stood by, and the Malach of Ahia protested against Yeshua, and said, Thus Yeshua Yasha, we should also put that in there because he's Savior, because of what occurred in this chapter 11 of Yeshayahu, or Isaiah. Yeshayahu. All right, where were we? 7. And saith Ahia of hosts, If thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou keep my charge, then shall I judge my house, and shall keep my courts, and I will keep thee places to walk among these that stand by. Hear, O Yeshua, the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, men wondered at. For behold, I will bring you forth my servant, the branch. So behold the stone that I have set before Yeshua. Upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. And the engraving said, Ahia of hosts, I will remove the iniquity of the land in one day. And that day saith Ahia, the host, Ahia of hosts, shall ye, every man his neighbor under the vine, under the tree. So again, now there's some places where okay, this branch, like I said, it's affiliated with their two individuals who have that name, because if it is associated with the branch, and then here we have where the Spirit, it says, let's see, and the Spirit of Ahia shall rest upon him, okay? And the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, and the Spirit of knowledge and fear of Ahia shall make him of quick understanding. So we have the branch and the Spirit of Ahia. This by the spirit of the prophet. Let's see, what is it? Eliyahu, also of we said Amos, and we talked about how that was important. So from a standpoint of understanding what the purpose of the prophet was. I don't know whether that was uploaded or not, so I'll read it again, because I don't know. I don't think it was. So I'm going to read it again, and prayerfully it will be able to upload at this time. Okay, it says the work of a prophet. It says, hear this word that Ahia has spoken against you, O children of Israel, or Israel. against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all of the iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he had taken nothing? Can a bird fall in the snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall I take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil, in the city, and Ahiah has not done it? Surely Ahiah would do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto the servants, the prophets. The lion has roared, who can not but fear? Because Ahiah has spoken, who can but prophesy? So, the word evil, it says in 3:6, should be better translated disaster or calamity. So, like I said before, it's going to be stated peace, or shalom, like that individual that's in the high and haughty place, that's in that place where that abominable worship is going up, and it should not be, because it was with hewn steps that the temple and the altar were made up to elevation, or Allah, or Aliyah. So again, and I was trying to explain Mystery Babylon and the principalities in high places, and how in various times throughout the centuries and decades and millennia, they've been seeking to avert the coming judgment of Ahiah, this being Nimrod and Ashtoreth, capable of doing this through the eating of blood and drinking of blood and things of that nature. And the churches and all religions are associated with this seal of Tau and Tav. We talked about before the meaning of Tav in Hebrew, meaning truth, and the word being emet. So we know that truth is in Sarnalia it means a God of truth. So the way that we make that difference, as I was saying before, and not being associated with wickedness, voodoo, Wiccan, or Sarnalia, Babylon, or anything like that, is to use the words imuna. I guess I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that means from AMAN, and it means firmness, steadfastness, faithfulness, honesty, expressing a highest faithfulness, a covenant with Ahiah, support, believe, and to believe. And there's no mark of the beast, or there's no mark of Sarnalia or Babylon associated with that. And this is why the people is cried out, who is like the beast, because who's able to make war with him. In my strength, I can't make any war with him. It's in the Father and in the Spirit that he has. So the truth is the light and the life, and we have to understand that the difference between the true Mashiach and the one that's proclaimed to you is that, like I said, all of those things are associated with that, but the true Mashiach, Yeshua, Yasha, all right, that's different. That's associated with this and not that. If you follow what I'm saying, that's associated with Amuna, firmness, steadfastness, faithfulness, honesty, expressing the highest faith, his faithfulness, a covenant with him, support, and believing that there is no mark or Sarnalia of Babylon associated with any voodoo or Hinduism or anything like that that's taking away from, because he's given those to the other nations, and that is for the purpose of allowing you to see that we're supposed to come out of those things, and to let them see that they're supposed to come out of these things, and to see that there is a way that is true, where that doesn't deal with astronomy and astrology and all of these things that we're into. So let me see what else I had. I had also a couple of things to read. It was it's what he wrote to what is it, Joel Amos, let's see, that's 3. He talks about the Grecians and how, well, that's two, let me go to three. How they, the title above that is A Higher with Just the Nations. Now, there's a whole lot that deals with judgment and ill, and we want to make a distinction, but so that we're not just like in one place I found that it talks about the when things are done, that it will be like an Edenic type of thing. But also in here, it talks about I forgot where I saw it. It talks about, I don't know whether it was in Amos or Hosea or Joel, but I have to find it and bring it to you, or you can search through here yourself, where it talks about how there are these individuals with faces of horses or locusts, things like that in the old covenant. This is the old covenant, not even talking about getting into the new covenant. And it talks about how from the time what's behind them was like, no, what's behind them is like a wilderness, and what's in front of them is like Eden. So if the true Mashiach is come to build an Eden for us, and people, as it stated, that these individuals are people who are set for the purpose of destruction, and they're trying to destroy everything within their path. There's and their faces are like locusts. Then it said something else that kind of threw me off a little bit, but it also made me understand that who that might be, which is the Hashatan. And it says that they were his army or something like that. And it appears that the difference is that we don't need our bara to use to be his army like that, because he could use his malak or his word to accomplish the same thing. So, and their faces would not be as grasshoppers or locusts, which ascended from the pit. So I'm going to try to find that and bring that to you at a later time. But I'm trying to conclude where I'm here, so I don't take a whole lot of your time with you doing other things. But this is important to hear. Let's see, it might even be up there. All right, I'll start here. It says in 12, no, this is Hosea 12. No, I'm in the wrong one. Let me go back. You're supposed to be in Joel 3. Starting at 3, 1, and 2, then we'll skip down to 5, 6, and 8, then we'll skip again. All right, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. They have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine, and they might drink. All right, going down to 5, because ye have taken my silver, my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. And when you go up and look it up, it says the sons of the Grecians, that ye might move them from their border. And as we stated before, in the book of Revelation, all of these assemblies are in Greece. And the fact that Jason and the Argonauts are associated with his uncle was supposed to have been Bacchus or something like that. And like I said, with all this pagan worship. Let's see, the children of Judah, and let's see, the 7, behold, I will raise them out of the places where you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head, and I will set your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians to be people far off, for Ahijah has spoken it. 9, proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into the swords, and your pruning shares into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Cause thy mighty ones to come down. What would it say? Cause thy mighty ones to come down. Let's see. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Ahiah. All right. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Get you down, for the wine, for the press is full of the vats overflow, for the wickedness is great. And with you consider what's going on now, all this wickedness and evil and killing and murder and theft and robbery and rape, and so it's something to consider what's being said. Excuse me, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Ahiah is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So, again, it is not I who is wishing these things. I'm declaring what's in here, and Ahiah willing, Ahiah, as I continue to go through here, I'll tell you additional things that I've seen. But like I said, there are things here that trip us up, especially when you look at the things of El and Elohim and things like that, and the fact that, like I said, now remember it says that the Messiah would be the son of David, not necessarily that I'm the Messiah or anything, but it's what I'm saying is that it's a situation where I fear and I'm trembling, and trying to work out my salvation with that same fear and trembling. And let me go back to 11 again so we can read Isaiah Yeshayahu again and understand that the difference is and we'll read about those spirits. We'll go to Zechariah again and talk about the 7 spirits. Let's see, because there's 7 of them here. So out of his roots, the spirit of Ahiah shall rest upon him, the spirit of 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually did 8, 9. Quick understanding, understanding, and it's already there. So let's see it again. Spirit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 7. So it says in 3 that and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Ahiah. And when you look that up, it says in scent or smell, because something does not smell right. And there's I forget, I think it's Hamlet, not Hamlet, Shakespeare. Something's rotten in the state of Denmark. I think he said in one of his plays, and it's apropos because the stench is great, and not that I have the right to judge that. It's just that I can imagine in my own filth and sin and trespasses against him, and my stench is. So I can imagine that what we do, and we don't repent of those things, and what they must mean to him. And and then it says, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. 5, the righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins. We read that before. And going to number 10 of 11, it says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse. And when you look at this, I want you to look at it this way. When you look at it that in the book of Revelation and other books where it says that I am the root and offspring of David, the bright and morning star. And we know that the difference is that Satan is the bright and morning star. So this is talking about the root of Jesse, which shall stand as an ensign of the people to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be esteemed. Let's see, and this shall come to pass in that day that Ahiah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and Pethrus and from Cush and Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall, excuse my stomach, I haven't eaten yet, please, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather them together, the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and of the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil, they shall spoil them to the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And Ahiah shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. And with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people. Now, there's, like I was telling you before, there's this this song of a singer that's very popular, and she talks about as if the highway were excuse me, were in front of him as he was burning things up. So again, whether that's so, I have no idea. But the thing of the matter is, I'm just trying to declare to you what's here and what's there, so that you can go and make these things out for yourself and look into these things and not take anything for granted as such, because within this thing there is much deception, as I stated before. So let's see, and there should be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt. And I was reading somewhere else where it said that when they did not know him in the wilderness, and I'm still trying to get my head around that 100%, because it's the way they're stated is that I guess because they kept, that's why they wandered so long, probably I guess because of the 40 years, that's why they didn't really get to know him as they should have. Let's see, hymn of thanksgiving is 12. It says, and in that day thou shalt say, O Ahiah, I will praise thee. Thou wast angry with me. Thine anger is turned away, and thou comfortest me. Behold, Ahiah is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid, for Ahiah is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation, or Yasha. Therefore with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation. And in that day shall ye say, praise Ahiah, call upon his name, declare his doings among the people. Make mention that his name is exalted. Sing unto Ahiah, for he had done excellent things. That is known in all the earth. Cry out and shout, thou inhabitant of Zion. For great is Ahiah of Israel in the midst of thee. So, all right, we'll stop there, and I'll Ahiah willing, and may Yasha bless us abundantly as I continue to try to bring these things to you. Be blessed. Amen.